little bit of the history of. I mean, me. I moved in here as an immigrant. I don't speak the language. That was the first barrier I had. But thank God I had a lot of good people come throughout my life. A lot of good friends, a lot of people that you meet once, they show you the path, and that's it. So long story short, I was working in a manufacturing job, and then I was working uh, on the weekends for somebody, and I was sitting in the pen mall, the little carts outside the bars.
Sure. I've visited them many times.
Yeah, so I live in Cedar Rapids. I drive all the way to Iowa City on the weekend for a little bit extra cash, and then I'm looking. I was like, why there is no cars in Cedar Rapids? So I started investigating a little bit. I was like, nobody wants to try it. I'll try it. So,
Around what year was this?
2009.
2009.
Yeah,
so,
October. I remember October 2009. It was cold, so I started the little cart. It was challenging because I had all my life savings. I started with like $3,000. I remember, and it was like to save that $3,000, working factory job, having a kid, having a mortgage and everything. It was not easy. Like it took me months, and like life is tight. You have to save the money. So I saved it. I started that. I bought a car from Florida. I remember, and they showed up, health inspection done, and then I went to get a permit. They don't have no regulation in Cedar Rapids. They gave me a peddler permit. So I was doing that every weekend outside the bars in Cedar Rapids, every Friday, Saturday, sometimes Thursday. Cold winters, hot summers, so I never skipped a day. I never skipped a weekend. So and then slowly we start gaining popularity around people like 2 o'clock in the morning. Everything is closed. Back then, most of the bars didn't have kitchens either.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the only food source in downtown. So then 2015 rolled in. I got, thank God, the wife graduated from school. She became a nurse. So she can carry the benefits. So I decided to quit my job, my main job, and then sit down, looking at what I'm gonna do, a restaurant or a food truck. Then we decided on the food truck.
Yeah.
It's a food trailer. So I was the second food trailer in Cedar Rapids.
I was gonna say you kind of
Yeah.
when you gave me that year, I was like,
Yeah.
oh man,
It was nobody.
started the food
Yeah,
truck
yeah,
scene
yeah,
in
yeah.
Cedar Rapids. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shout out to my buddy Keeping Up with the Jones. He was the very first one. I will not take that from him. But officially nobody knew about him. I'm just kidding. So Keeping Up with the Jones was the first one. I used to see his truck, but I never knew where they were. Because like social media was not the best back then. And then we opened up, same thing. They don't have no regulation or nothing. I was parking in downtown back in the day in 2015. Before you park, you have to take permission from the store that you're gonna park in front of. They let you in, and then you take it to the city, and then they issue the permit. And then I don't want to name the name, but one specific business in downtown, they tried to sue the city because they thought I was taking customers from them. So we were parked. They thought I was taking customers from them. And then the city, they come together, and then they come up with the regulations and the food truck laws that you know now.
Sure.
So and 2000, so we got the derecho. Fast forward to the derecho, but I'll go back to 2015. 2015, like we talked earlier, it was a really really hard year, because you start like in my mind. Have you ever watched the movie Chef?
Oh yeah,
He goes from
Did
town
you watch
to town.
it yet?
I had started it. Yeah.
You started it.
Yeah, I've watched bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen the whole thing all the way through.
I recommended that on episode 1. I
Yes.
recommended they watch Chef. Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
he goes and he opens the window and there is a line. So I went to Florida to get my food truck, my food trailer. So I got it from Georgia, but I ended up doing like a week in the East Coast, like seeing how does it work. Like in Florida, they block streets every day.
Mm-hmm.
For example, they're gonna block Collins Road from here to here, and there's like 20, 30 food trucks. And then the following day, they go somewhere else. The following day, somewhere else. And then they have areas where they have parking designated just to food trucks.
Wow.
So you can go, and there's food trucks all over. Coming to Cedar Rapids, that's what I had in my mind. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna open the window. I'm gonna make money. So I came in. I remember exactly the first day, we sold 54 meals. The following day, it dropped to like 25. We opened October 15th of 2015, and then within 1 week, we start selling like 6 euros a day. So it went from like 54 to like 6. So and slowly keep going, like it went like that for months. While that's happening, somebody's coming after you saying that you're stealing their customers. They're like, you're not allowed to be in downtown anymore.
And one of the things that we talked about in the past is one, and I think that you're a really great example of this, is we always talk collaboration, not competition.
That's true.
You know, I mean, it
100%.
one, it builds goodwill, and two, you know, you said the philosophy is there's a what did you say? There's enough people. There's enough.
Everybody can eat.
Everybody can eat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he said.
And that's
you
the
know.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're 100% right though, because I look at it as, you know, there's obviously several barbecue trucks and, you know, some of my friends, but it really is a community, and that's the thing that I like is I don't look at it as competition, because there's different styles of barbecue. There's, you know, I mean, you've got people who are, you know, there's different sections throughout the country, so a lot of the things I do will be regional, because even though we're the pork capital of the world, we're not known for barbecue, which is, you know, a shame. But I don't look at anybody as competition.
Yeah.
I 100% look at it as, you know, everybody can support each other. Everybody gets to eat. Everybody gets to take care of their family. You know, I don't go out there and be like, oh, Willie Ray, I'm gonna, you know, that's not what it is at all. It's, you know, everybody is super cool, you know, that I've met, and I'm assuming that you've, at least for the most part, kind of seen
I
the
agree.
same thing.
So we do the same thing. Like we have, like when people get to that point that they understand you are your only competition. It's not that people around you. It's your product, your service, your enthusiasm in looking into the business, your personality. You know. But when you come there is community. Like for example, we have like few food trucks that will work together. Like for example, we have Hatchet Barbecue. You got Keeping Up with the Jones. You got like people all over that will send business. You cannot book like 10 events in one day. But there is 10 events in one day. So when they come my way, I redirect them to Matt, for example, or to this guy, to that guy, and vice versa. You know, we recommend each other to other business, and that's how you get the business. Because people, they want your recommendation. If you go and you provide a good service, people they'll take your recommendation over just looking online who's they gonna bring next. And that's how it works. That's how we create this network. We call it the Food Trailer Network, or a community, basically.
Yeah.
And we help each other. Like for example, like like food trucker, he knows what I'm talking about. He'll know what I'm talking about. You're always missing something or forgetting something. You know, so it's
Oh my god!
And then you go to the next door food truck and be like, "Hey, can I please get boxes from you? I'll give them back to you." Or like he'll come back. Yeah.
Yes.
So you always, thank God we come up with. I tell this to everybody: make a list. You will not forget anything anymore. So make a list, check it before you leave, and you'll be good. But back to the story. So 2015, we were struggling a little bit because when I quit my job, I pulled all my retirement money, and I pumped it into the food truck. And the food truck was so slow that I had to keep working the weekends and feed in the food trailer from the food cart. So whatever I make on the weekend, I had to save a little bit to survive on, and then keep pumping money. You always need something. And the part that really bothered me, it's like I couldn't find any help. Like I go ask somebody, I'm like, hey, how do you do this? They look at you as competition. They don't want to talk to you. So one time, I heard that there is a lady. She had a food trailer in Davenport, Iowa. We went there, and I spent a good amount of money. Like I took 6 people with me. We spent back then it's like 150,000 food truck. That's a lot of money. As soon as I mentioned I'm opening a food truck in Cedar Rapids, she turned around. She wouldn't talk to me again. Yeah, she ignored me like completely.
And that's in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I'm
know.
like 2 hours away from you. But ever since, I was like, you know what? If anybody come and ask me about my help, I will help, no problem. So like I've had a lot of people reaching out to me, like from all over the place. All I tell people, don't ask me for my recipes. I'll show you the path. I'll even share customers with you. I want you to become successful. You know.
And you made a really good point just a couple minutes ago, where you said, you know, you're in competition with yourself. The only thing that's really standing up in your way is you, and you know, and the way you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree with you. But that's the thing, man. It's like he said it. I say it differently. I said there is enough money for everybody. You go to the mall. Why, for example, why do you see like 4 gas stations in one corner? Why do you see like a retailers in one strip? Because you want to bring everybody to that location, and then you get the choice. Then you showcase your skills, how you sell, how you serve.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2015 to 2007, but everything happened for a reason. I believe everything happened for a reason. So when we got pushed out of downtown, we got approached by like what we did. Like shout out to my buddy Edward O'Connor. He was my very first employee, but he was a good friend of mine. So when we were slow, he was a DJ, and he was like gifted with like talking to people. So like we come up with like we made a lot of flyers, and while out we parked in downtown, he took all those flyers to the businesses around. So and he was telling everybody, hey, come check us out, we'll give you a discount if you buy from us today. So and he spread the word all over downtown. It got really cold, we couldn't do it, we couldn't survive on like selling €5 a day and paying them because I was not making any money. And then we got reached out by companies like, hey, do you cater? I was like, hell yeah, I cater. So excuse my language.
You're
like,
okay. We dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. So like, yes, I cater. They're like, well, we need like $14 meals. I was like, perfect, I can get you $14. I remember like, I didn't even have cameras to deliver them. I put them in like tomato boxes. Like, you know, you get the tomato boxes. I'm taking them to the company.
And just to clarify, that was the first time you'd been asked. So you had not, you had not been doing catering prior.
No, that's the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I catered those 14. I was like, well, this is good. Like if I can reach out to companies. My mom, she works for HR all her life, and she keeps telling me, hey, you gotta go to companies and you're gonna pitch in your product. I was like, yeah, that's smart. So what I've done, it's funny how it worked. So like when those guys approached me, I gave I don't remember the front desk lady, but thanks to her, I gave her like 2 gift cards to her for calling us and getting us to cater. And then somehow she put those 2 gift cards on a basket, and somebody won them. And I guess whoever won them, his spouse or whatever, she was from different company. And somehow she tried our food, and she called us. She's like, hey, do you want to cater? I was like, well, perfect. We have a food truck. We can bring it to you. I don't have, because I didn't know how to box everything and take it, and the food gets cold and stuff like that. So when you're starting, you don't have a lot of capital to start buying equipments. So you have to work with whatever you have. So I was like, you know what? I have a food trailer. I can bring it to you like a lot. You don't have to eat cold food. She's like, oh, perfect. So we did that. And then we went there and we served like 50, 60 people. I was like, oh my God, this is even better. And they're like, please, if you know somebody, send the recommendation. And then she sent us to a different company. And then that's how we start rolling. Like I'll go from company to company to company to company. And every time I go, I serve 50, 60 meals at the time. I was like, oh, this is great. And then you start growing. And then the farmers market helped because like that's a huge exposure. You got the first market of the season, there's like 10,000 people, I believe, give or take, sometimes 8 to 10,000.
I think Cedar Rapids is the largest outside of Des Moines.
Yeah, it's second largest. Yeah, and man, those guys, they're doing a phenomenal job. Like literally, they with all the stress they go through and organization, and you know, they're doing a phenomenal job. And thanks to them, like but everything happened for a reason. So like. My very first farmer's market, I'll rewind it back because I was doing the cart before the trailer. And then somebody is like, you need to try the farmer's market. I was like, oh man. And then I reached out to them. And they're like, yeah, perfect, just come in. They made the process so easy. I don't know, maybe I'm a lucky guy. I really don't know. So they made that process so easy for me that I didn't have to do much. Like I just showed up in the middle of the season. They're like, oh, perfect, come in. And I guess they liked my product, and ever since, I think we're coming on the 10th year of the farmers market, or the 11th year, somewhere on there. But those guys are like amazing people. And so fast forward to we hit the derecho. It was bad for everybody, but we did a lot of. I think that's what helped us a lot too. So shout out to my buddy Ernie from Cedar Valley Outfitters. He's an amazing human being. So the ratio hit, and he was literally the only guy calling to check on me. He's like, how you doing financially? I was like, man, you know how it is. I have food truck. Like, thank God the garage where I was storing my trailer, I have a lot of food that's gonna go to waste. He's like, you know what you can do? Come over to my parking lot and you can serve. I'm like, all right. So I pulled so the product doesn't go bad. So I showed up in there. He did some advertising on social media. Man, he's a nice human being. Anytime I showed up to his parking lot, he does a giveaway. Like he gives like a gun or a knife or something from his store just to help me make money. So then somehow KCRG find out that we have the food truck open and the restaurants they were closed. Everybody didn't have power in their houses and everything. So they came in, they interview us, and I was like on camera. I was like, if you have money, if you don't have money, come and eat. The following day, we showed up in there. We had like probably 150 people waiting to eat.
That's awesome.
And how many of them didn't pay?
Exactly. They were all like expecting no money. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I would say like 20% paid. But then got to this lady, I don't remember her name. So like in the process, I went to her and I was like, bro, I don't know if I can do this. Like giving free food to everybody. It's like, you cannot do that. And then got to this lady, she showed up. She's like, I want to pay it forward. She gave me $20. I was like, that's a good idea. And then we start promoting it. Pay forward for somebody that doesn't have meals. And thank God we collected enough money to serve everybody if they didn't have money to pay. So, and we went to a lot of neighborhoods, so we didn't just stay there. So, and then while we were doing that, we had this organization called World Kitchen. They go to disastrous area where there's like hurricanes and stuff like that, and they serve free meals. And we did like 5,000 meals through them. But in general, we end up serving 8,000 meals that season of the derecho. So, and a lot of them, they were free, but people paid forward, so we started a program. I mean, we didn't profit, but we made sure everybody had enough to eat. And and then COVID hit. After that, we survived a little bit, and then COVID hit. Jeez. And then, man, like COVID, I remember like it was the day of St. Patrick's Day, and that is like usually when I do the food truck, my first day of the season is St. Patrick's Day. So I invested so much in that. Like I bought the products and everything, and the night of, they're like, yep, everything shut down. I was like, oh my God. So I'm in contact with the health department and everything. He's like, you know what? You're mobile. You consider it as a takeout. I was like, oh, sweet. So I still can park, and she's like, yeah, you cannot serve people from the window, but you can be there and you can take it to their cars. Like they can call, sure. They can order, but you can take it to their car. And again, my buddy Ernie from Cedar Valley Outfitters, he stepped up big time. So he hired a friend of his.
So Cedar Valley Outfitters, just to clarify, they're over by you, where you live, right? They're in the Marion, on Grand Ave. Okay.
Man, he's amazing human being, man. Like he's an angel from God. That's what I keep telling people. He came in, he was helping me and helping his friend at the same time. He called his friend that he hired, because I was like one-man show. I cannot pay somebody to just run the food, So he hired her, and he was paying her good money just to take the order, bring it to the trailer, and deliver it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's like an amazing guy. Like I will never forget his favors, man. And then we did that for a while, and then the word spread that we're serving food, and like we couldn't keep up. So we were all over, and then the restaurant happened. So I started looking I was like, okay, I'm gonna need a commercial kitchen. So I couldn't just like go shop, prep, sell, shop. We talked about it earlier. A lot of people just see 2 hours. We're gonna touch on this later on, but like 2 hours or 3 hours they are opening, it turned into like 12, 14, 16 hours days. So I couldn't just keep doing that. I needed some refrigeration space. I was looking at commercial kitchens, and then we come across the one on Center Point Road, and I was like, you know what? My dad is like, you have space. Why don't you open a restaurant? You always want to open one. I was like, nah, it's a lot of work. I was like, just do it. I was like, all right. So we did it. And again, man, like a lot of people come through my life that I'm very appreciative of. Like we had a friend, like we called a contractor. You know how it is. When you have like food truck, you don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of capital. You barely make enough to to survive, to live, but at the same time, the good thing about it is the freedom. Like we told me and Matt talked about earlier, you get the freedom to go to your kids' activities. You can do a lot of things that you cannot do if you work an 8 to 5 job. Doctor appointments, a lot of things like delays, like today, for example, for kids, you can do those things when you have your own operations. And yeah, so we did that. We opened it, and then my friends, so we called the contractor to give us, see how much it's gonna cost us to remodel, and it was like $180,000, $190,000. I don't have that kind of money.
Right.
So thank God I called a friend of mine. He's a union carpenter. I was like, "What you doing?" He's like, "Literally, I just got laid off yesterday." I was like,
Wow.
I was like,
That's
I
timing right there.
have a
That's
job for you.
incredible. Oh my
I was like, I have a
goodness.
job for you. He was like, what? I was like, come over, I'll show you. We opened the door. I was like, oh, what did you do? I was like, I don't know. I need the kitchen, but we're gonna have to redo this place. And then I had a friend of mine, and then you meet people through the business. Like my plumber guy, I met him through. I did his wedding. I catered his wedding, and he was my very first wedding that I catered. And I got to meet him, and I got to know him, and he's an amazing guy. You know, I called him. I was like, "Hey, Aaron." Shout out to Aaron. I was like, "Aaron, I have a job for you, brother." He's like, "What?" I showed him. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, I cannot do it through somebody's company because I'm gonna be paying a lot of money. He did. Oh man, he did an amazing job, and he saved me a lot. Something with an electrician. I called my buddy. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing, Kyrie? You know, this is shout out for you." Kyrie, I called him. I was like, I need a favor from you." He was like, "What you need?" I showed him. I was like, "Oh, what did you get into?" But everybody did everything after hours in their personal time, and they saved me a lot. And thank God. Like that's what I said. Like it's how you interact with people. You know, because like for me, brother, when I see customers in my restaurant or in the food truck or the carts, I don't look at the one-time sell. I build relationships. I still have customers that I've met since 2009.
Yeah.
And those are good friends of mine. You know, like most of my friends are through at the business, but we build relationship. I don't want your $20 right now and I will never see you again. I want your $20 20 years later.
Yep.
You know?
And for those of you